Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Sunday. I just made it in hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SidekickSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Welcome. If you're up at this hour watching this live, you are a trooper. And if you're watching the replay, at some point, you are a trooper. Somebody just joined me. If you're joining me live, the only way I know now is if you comment because I'm using StreamYard. Sumir, namaste. How are you? Welcome. You're gonna love tonight's story, Sumir. So Jenny, Sumir, wow, you guys are up and you are here. Welcome, Jenny. I don't understand. 3 o'clock in the morning for Jenny. Um, you're in for a treat, though. You're in for a treat. I'm going to tell a farmer story. You're going to like this farmer story. So, I don't know about you, but I have been lied to a few times. And some have been really like mindful, small little ones, and some have been like seriously like big lies. 12:33 p.m. there. Yes, it's 12:04 a.m. here. It's midnight here. And yeah, so you've been lied to. I've been lied to, and sometimes you know that the person's lying to you, and sometimes you obviously don't. But sometimes you know, right? Sometimes you look and you're like, I listen, I know you're lying to me, right? If you're joining me live, let me know you're here. You got to type in a comment. I wouldn't know any otherwise. Love to give a shout out to the folks who are here. Farmer stories. Yeah. So, um, sorry, I lost my train of thought. We've been lied to, and we know sometimes, hey, we're gonna let you kind of talk whatever you want because we know you're lying, and sometimes you don't know when it comes out later on, right? Well, I read a story. I came across a story a couple of days ago, and it's about like, and I love this story. The way you handle this lie, or they handle this lie, if you would. And I'll tell the story, and then I'll do my takeaway like I usually do at the end. But I want you to pay attention to this story. It's a cool little story. So there was a farmer who grew watermelons, and I love watermelons. We talked about this before. I'm not going to digress. It's late. Um, so a farmer was growing watermelons, and he noticed that at night a few of these kids would come in and steal a few of his, right? And this was just like almost every night, and he was just tired of this. That every night these kids would come in and just kind of go through and pick a few and go home, right? So one night he says, "You know what? I'm going to put up a sign." He puts up a sign to scare the kids off, and he puts up a sign saying that one of these watermelons have been injected with cyanide, which is a poison, right? So when the kids come in at night, they see the sign, they run away. They come back with their own sign and put up a sign right next to the farmer's sign and go home. Well, the next day, when the farmer comes to check on the field, he goes through the field, and he notices that nope, there are no watermelons gone or damaged. So he's like relieved. He's all like, yeah, the sign worked. And he starts to walk up towards his sign. And then when he walks up towards his sign, he sees there's another sign next to his sign. He's like, what the? So he goes up to the sign, and sure enough, there's another sign that the kids wrote and put it right next to the farmer sign. The farmer sign obviously said there's one of these watermelons in the field that was and that's been injected with cyanide, just don't know which one, right? Obviously. And the kids wrote their own sign next to the farmer's sign that said, now there are two that are injected with cyanide. Did you catch that? I love that. I love the cleverness of this story. So they come back and they bluff the bluffer, right? They say, well, now there's two of them. Now, obviously, the farmer is probably contemplating, is there really another one in here that they injected with cyanide, or are they bluffing, or what have you? So my takeaway, I love this story, by the way. I just love the ending, how clever these kids were, and my takeaway from this is that sometimes, and it's probably been for me more recent than like most of my life, but it's been more recent, maybe the last, I would say 2, 3, 4 years, but maybe 3, 4 years, 2, 3 years, that I do this. Then I'll give you my takeaway. And my takeaway is this: sometimes you gotta, and I mean this. Well, sometimes you got to slap the heck out of the person who's lying to you with their own lie. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to just make sure that they understand that they are lying. They're not being truthful. They're being dishonest. And it's not about just a lie. It's about a category of things that falls under lying, right? Stealing, dishonesty, all this stuff that falls under, right? Disrespectful, dishonorable, right? So you have all this list that falls in that category, if you would. And sometimes, like I said, it's probably been more like the last 2, 3 years. I've been more, how do you say it? I've been more, I don't think I've ever been lost for words this long, but I've been more, I want to say direct, but direct doesn't feel like it's the right word. I've been more direct and straight up with some people, and I have no problem just kind of making sure that people understand that there's a boundary, right? That I'm okay to push back and say, you're in my comfort zone. And we talked about this before, but sometimes when somebody is lying to you, being dishonest with you, and is not treating you right and disrespecting you and all this stuff, like I said, in this category, sometimes you got to slap them right back with their own lie in the nicest possible way. My kids know that lying is by a hot button. Lying is one of the worst for me. Yeah, that's one of my weak points. If somebody calls me a liar, or if somebody says you lied to me, or this and that, that's kind of my button too. I don't I don't like that button to be pushed. But so sometimes you got to kind of slap them right back with their lie in the nicest way. And I think this was done in the most brilliant way. Hey, you're gonna tell us there's one that's been injected with poison. Okay, well, now there's two. How do you take that? Right? So it's not like you're being rude. It's not like you're being obnoxious, annoying, or anything like that. You're just literally using that own lie right back to them, saying, hey, listen, come on now. right? So sometimes I want to share with you that sometimes it's okay to push back and let people know that, listen, they're coming to an area where it's you don't really appreciate that. I don't like allow the lying and the cheating and the stealing and all this stuff. This is not in my MVPs, right? In my morals, values, and principles. It's not my thing. So I'm totally okay to push that back. Um, but they were taking something absolutely true. The behavior is not I'm not saying the behavior is wrong or right. I get it. I totally get it. But maybe the farmer could have done it a different way, right? Could have done it in a different way. Didn't have to say, hey, it's injected with poison, right? They could have, maybe he could have put a fence up. Maybe he could have put a guard up, like, some kind of a defense mechanism, right? So the behavior of the kids, I'm not saying is right or wrong. That's a good point, actually. I'm glad that you brought that up. But it's the lying, it's the method they handle that lie. I think it's so brilliant, and it's probably done. I mean, it makes sense that it was done by kids, because I don't know if an adult could have come up with something like that quick, that fast, But I don't condone that behavior. You're absolutely right. So I like that. I like the fact that you pointed that out, Jenny. Look at you at 3 o'clock in the morning. You're still sharp. 3:13 in the morning, still sharp. So yeah. Hey, listen. The best thing I can tell you is, I was thinking about this actually. This past 5 days has been crazy in my life, just insane, right? But they both lied. Yes, but one used the other person's lie against him, which is kind of that's what I mean. It's not like they created a whole new lie; they just used his own lie against them. So it's not like I created a whole new anything. I just used what you gave me right back at you, saying, "Hey, listen, Um, but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but before that. But anyway, so hopefully you guys got some love. Oh, I was gonna say this. I was thinking about this before I go. I want to say this. I was thinking about this past 4 or 5 days. 5 days, it's been just insane for me. And when I think about lying and the people who show up in everybody's life, and they've lied and this and that, and I think about that stuff. And one thing that I've noticed is that, how they say you forget, like when you lie, you forget, you got to keep your story straight. Yeah, that's great and all. But then if you lie, it turns out to be, I feel like it doesn't end on one lie. Like you have to build up on that lie, right? It's not about you keeping the story straight. You just develop more, like you got to keep going with it, because sometimes other things are related to it. And if now you say this, now it's all, so you got to kind of sometimes kind of continue with the lie and just add more lies, and just maybe bring even more people in and talk, so it becomes like a disaster. It becomes a mess. So best thing to do is, this is the way I do it. Maybe not for everybody, but this is how I do it. Doesn't make everybody happy, but works for me. And that's okay. If I'm gonna lie, if I were to not tell the truth, or not to tell how I feel, or not to tell my idea at that moment when I'm asked, or what have you, I just don't say anything. Just don't say anything. I'll if you ask, I'll just say, no comment. I'm okay. That's what I would say, and I've said that many times. And but if I'm gonna say something, it'll be straight up. It'll be what I think. It'll be based on my MVPs, morals, values, principles. It'll be all that. I wouldn't sugarcoat it. I wouldn't like you know. So if you're gonna get it from me, I've always, like, my team and my friends, they know that if they're gonna ask my opinion, they're ready for whatever. And they're gonna get it. I'm not gonna sit here and, like, oh, sugar baby, I'm gonna share it with you, and I expect the same in return. It's not like I just give it. I want that too. I don't want people to, like, lie and, go around um, the corners and all this stuff to tell you something. I want a straight up answer too, because I'm working on that. If I'm asking somebody's opinion, it's just because I care on that, on the input. It's not just because I'm asking because whatever, right? I'm asking because I care. I care about their input. So therefore it needs to be straight up and honest. So my team knows, my friends know, if they ask me, even like people who don't know me really well, if they ask me, if my friends are there, they're like, bro, are you sure we want to ask his opinion? Because he'll give it to you, right? And I think that's important. I think that's a character buildup that I think it's important to be known like that. Either you don't say anything. I've told many people many times that I'm not comfortable with that question, and you're probably not going to get that answer from me, or I'm just not going to share, or you're not going to get my opinion on that subject. I've said that many times, and I'm so comfortable saying it. Before I wasn't, but now I'm so comfortable. Morals, values, principles. Yes, MVPs. That's what I go with. So yeah, I just thought that it's so clever of these kids to just use his own, just boom, right back at him. They're probably not going to go back and steal more watermelons. I think they got the point, because they don't want to even take that chance, right? Nobody would. But I wonder what the farmer is going to do. That's the next chapter, I guess, in that book. But what would you do as a farmer if that happened? Oh man, what if they actually did inject that one? Oh my goodness. I'll leave the endings up to you. Ending up to you. Yes, MVPs. Morals, values, principles. It's what I call the tripod of your life. You got to have these three solid. You got to know what they are for you, and solid. Like, things wouldn't. I'll do a whole live. I haven't done a live one. No, huh? I'll do a whole live on MVPs. I wonder why I haven't. I will. A whole life. But you got to have this tripod of life. You got to have this solid. And there's a lot of things that will come in and want to shake it and test it and break it. And but you just got to stand just firm and solid on them. And yeah, he would never do those. Nothing was in the bottom. We don't ever know. We never know. There are some cruel people out there, but we don't know. So we'll never know, right? So you wouldn't do that, right? Because you're the nice farmer. You wouldn't inject that, right? I'd just run a couple of dogs. Be aware of vicious, hungry, meat-eating dog. Just loose in the field. That'd be awesome. That would be fun. These days, it would be it would be. Oh my God, these days they'd probably hang him. But yeah, that's funny. Anyway, I hope you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I didn't think it was gonna go this long. Sorry. But yeah, so hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value. I know you guys get some comments. I'm gonna go check them out, but drop one takeaway from this story or this live down below. Let this feed grow. And yeah, don't forget Thursday. I'm going to announce it tomorrow with my guest. It's confirmed. Obviously, we have to change. So Thursday, we have Thursdays with Sean at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today it would be disaster. Yeah, none of that stuff. Even that sign, even wouldn't fly these days. He would be arrested for just having the sign up. Poor guy. He'd be like, I just want my watermelons. Oh man, this world is so complicated these days. Anyways, With that, hopefully you guys got some love and feel like this is worthy of sharing. Do what you got to do, spread the love. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.